We have seen this over and over again, this pattern with UFC that you say anything about fighters pay, you say anything that is anti-UFC, and UFC is going to throw you into some really difficult fights, right? It has happened over and over again with Ned Diaz and a lot of fighters. So if you are following UFC, then I don't have to explain that. So is Joe Pyfer going through the same thing? Because if you remember, during his last fight, Joe Pyfer did some interview where he echoed the same sentiment of Paddy Pimblett that I am willing to fight top contender, but purse has to be different. I need to get paid more. And his word was twisted, and media does what they do, and it was magnified, added some spice, and now here we are. Joe Pyfer is fighting Jack Hermanson. Then you might be saying, are you an idiot? Jack Hermanson is going to get smoked in the fight. Yeah, that's true. He is most likely to get smoked out of the fight, but don't count don't just count him out, because Jack Hermanson has never been out of the top 10. But even I believe that he is going to lose the fight. There is another thing. Yeah, he will lose. Joe Pyfer is going to win this fight, but his next, all of his next fight is going to be in the top 10 against top 10 ranked guys. I don't know whether he got his contractual or fight purse changed or not, but once he's done with Jack Hermanson, for his next fight, if he wins, which is very likely, then his next fight would be against a top 10 middleweight guy, which is which is going to be difficult. UFC top 10 is a shark tank in any division you can look into. Even the fighters, you can say that yeah, he's not that good, that bad, but still they are in the top 10 for a reason, and we have seen it over and over again. Like guys who were hype trends and they come into the top 10 and they came back to reality and they were shocked. Top 10 is really different because the fighters in the top 10, they are bigger, they are skilled, they are very adaptable. That's why they are in the top 10, right? And if you look in the middleweight, a lot of the people who are in the ranking, they have been into the top 10 ranking for a while. And another thing is that Dana White is not a forgetful guy. He is not going to forgive and forget that easy. Because if you remember, he bought a house for Joe Pyfer. So if we are talking about typical Dana White, he saw the news where he saw the fact that Joe Pyfer is talking about more money about UFC fighter pay, then he must be thinking, okay, I'm not going to talk anything about it. But for next fight, I'm going to ensure that you are thrown into the shark tank. It's very likely you can never count Dana White out, especially when it comes to fighter pay, just to give a little bit of reality check. And if that's not the case, I hope that Joe Pyfer gets paid really well because he is an exciting fighter. And man, you can never pay enough to these fighters because MMA is very brutal. Like, I don't have to tell you the whole thing, right? We already know that if we are following UFC,